Deep relaxation class taught by Bryan Nupp. Be sure to check out our yoga playlist for past classes and subscribe to our channel, Library CCPL. Enjoy class.
Thank you, Buff, for the warm introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Brian. I'm so glad you're able to tune in and join us for this deep relaxation yoga program. Hope you've been doing well since our last class. And last class, I believe I opened with a passage about practice and what it means to practice. And as I've been contemplating this, I'm asking myself, how should I be practicing? What's the quality of that practice? And what am I practicing? And what's the point of practicing anyway? And so all these questions can start to point us in the direction of what's valuable to us and what we want to cultivate more of in our life and what would be required of us to practice to have that kind of quality of life. So if the quality of life that I'm seeking is a peaceful and happy life, then I'm going to want to cultivate qualities that are going to keep my mind at peace and therefore produce a more contented state. And so we could practice our yoga poses without mindfulness, and it would just be physical exercise. And physical exercise is great, but for a really enriched and peaceful life, I want to go a little bit further than just physical exercise. I want to bring mindfulness into every moment, into every breath, and so that I can breathe mindfulness into this being, this body, and experience yoga more fully. So that's my encouragement for you tonight. Just begin by asking yourself the question, what does this practice mean to me? Or what am I practicing in life? And how do I want to practice that? So we'll start our class tonight, moving from this contemplative state. And with the questions asked, now we can go in and create the space so that the answers can manifest in our lives, in our bodies, in our mindsets. But our practice tonight will begin simply with our breathing. Our breathing is the first thing that joins us and meets us in this life. And it's the last thing that is with us when we depart these bodies. Our breath accompanies us always. And many times our breath is reflective of our current state of mind. If you're upset or angry, your breathing might become very sharp or sudden or short. But when you're very deeply relaxed, your breath can become so light and shallow that it almost hardly exists, but it's still there. And so as we transition from whatever our days held into this practice, we're going to use a very simple tool guided by breath to bring us into a peaceful and present state. If you're not already seated comfortably, please make adjustments to your seat so that you can sit upright comfortably. Find that balance for you between physical exertion and relaxation. Bring in any gentle movements you need to feel settled and to rest here in stillness. Find that length, that height through the spine. as the crown of the head reaches up. All together, let's exhale completely out the mouth. Release any hot, tense air. Release the stories of the past. Exhale. Inhale through your nose. Feel that cool, relaxed stream of air coming in. And as you breathe in, imagine you are breathing in peace. Again, exhale, let go of any stifling or hot air. Release the stories of the past. And inhale peace. Continue to do this, counting to 10. Every exhalation followed by an inhalation counts as 1. And continue with this as your third repetition, counting to 10. If you notice that your mind is jumping from one thought to the next, use the breath, discipline the mind, train the monkey mind, and know true content. Release any judgments if your mind does wander. Just simply become aware. Our minds also accompany us through this lifetime. Our minds can help us solve problems and create solutions and understand things intellectually. But our minds can also over-dramatize things and cause us suffering. This is why yoga encourages us to train our mind. Take a few more breaths in our attempt to be present for 10 breaths. Such a small goal can feel like such a big accomplishment. Release all your stories and continue to breathe in peace. And with your next breath in, sweep the arms out to the side, stretching wide through the fingertips. Let your hands lead the arms overhead. Let the palms touch. And when you're ready, exhale, press the palms together, relax the shoulders, and drop the hands to rest in front of the chest. Inhale, stay here, lift the center of the chest. Exhale, look over your right shoulder, stretching the neck. Inhale back to center. You can even stretch the eyes here, letting your eye gaze look up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, eye gaze looking around to the left. Let your eyes lead the stretch through the head and neck. One more time, over right shoulder. Again, lead that stretch with the eyes. Back up to the ceiling. And over left shoulder. Good. Relax the hands down. One more breath in. And this time, as you look over right shoulder, just walk the hands over to the right and just take a gentle seated twist to the right. Try and keep the belly and hips pressing forward and just twist from the belly button up through the upper ribs, up through the chest, up through the head and neck, and again through the eyes. Relax the shoulders. And then inhale, hands up and overhead, and we'll twist to the left. And back to center. Good. Go ahead and squeeze the hands and make fists. Palms face up. Squeeze the hands tense and tight. Draw the elbows back behind you. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Big breath in, lift the chest. And as you exhale, we're just going to flick the fingers out with the fingertips towards the floor. Keep inhaling, and when I say release, flick the fingers outward and towards the floor. Keep inhaling. And release. Gently shake out the hands. Do that 3 more times. Squeeze the hands and make fists. Pull the elbows back, shoulders tense and tight. Inhale, 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 peace. And release. Good. Give the hands a good shake from the wrists down. All right, twice more. Squeeze the hands and make fists. Thumbs up this time. Pull the shoulder blades back together. Draw the lower belly up and in. Keep inhaling and hold. Breathing in peace. Breathing in presence. Release. Awesome. Very good. One last time. This time you can keep the hands open if you wish, or squeeze the hands. Shrug the shoulders. Palms turned up. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Release. Good. Just gently sway the shoulders front and back. Roll the shoulders out a couple of times. And then give yourself a great big hug. See if you can even reach back with the hands and fingers to grab a hold of the back. Squeeze as tight as you can here. And then lift the elbows up. And release. One last great big hug. Inhale, hands open up. Bring opposite arm on top. So last time my right arm was on top, now I have left on top. Lift the elbows, big breath in. And release. Good. We're going to come over onto our hands and knees now. Back onto our mat. We're going to continue to warm up the side bodies, the back muscles, and the spine. Okay. So from here, in this tabletop position, you might like to have a blanket. If you're having any kind of arthritis or issues with the wrists, you might just like a little cushion or something to grab onto. If you need a little extra cushion for the knees, you could always put a blanket under your knees as well. Spacing, I have about a foot distance in between the hands. My hands are just about under my shoulders or just on the outside edge of my chest here. Knees are right underneath the hips. Now I'm going to focus the start of my cat and cow movement in the tip of my tailbone. And so with my first breath in here, I'm just going to keep the lower belly pulling up and in, and I'm going to tilt the tailbone away. Then I'm going to just gently scoop the hips under, really sucking the belly up and in now, and pressing the hips forward. I'm really trying to isolate this movement in my lumbar and sacral spine. So for now, as we warm up, I want to try and keep the shoulders set. So I'm just going to very gently tilt the tailbone and then tuck the tailbone up. Very wave-like, steady movement. Just going to continue to build upon this, working up into the lumbar spine, deepening that flexion there. Breathing mindfully. Your mind is just screaming for something to do. That's that monkey mind. And you can train the monkey mind. You can even give it a task. Monkey mind, say, we're going to train you to help my hips and lower back. But first, we're going to train you to inhabit the breath. So with the breath and then with the intention, we can guide the breath into those areas we feel the stretch. At this point, you can work into the full range of your cat and cow, working on the mobility of the spine. And you may feel very content to work through a standard range of motion here. Feel free to also to explore some movement, leaning side to side, or even walking the hands forward just a bit, dropping the hips back. Feel free to make figure eights or spiraling circular movements through the hips and lower back and shoulders. We're going to come down to rest in child's pose now. So I'm going to lower down to my forearms, keeping the toes tucked under. I'm going to shift the weight of the hips back towards the heels. Forehead can rest on the floor. Do more rounds of breathing in child's pose. And then shift forward back into that tabletop position, but walk the hands far forward. We're going to transition to downward facing dog. If it's too much pressure on the joints, you can always come down to your forearms and come into a dolphin position instead. Also, in previous situations where it's appropriate, you might find it more comfortable to even have your hands up on blocks when you press back for your down dog pose. Down dog is like this upside down letter V shape, just a very slight bend in the knees. We're really, again, accentuating this tilt of the tailbone, just like in cow pose. That's how you're going to access that full hamstring stretch. From down dog, you have the option, if you want, to shift back forward into a plank, working on some core stability and shoulder strength, and then back. This is just a deep relaxation class, so we're not as focused on breaking a sweat or exercising. We just want to warm our bodies up so we can relax that much more deeply. Also, if you wish, extend one leg behind with a bent leg or straight leg. You're ready? Go ahead and walk the feet forward and come into a standing forward fold. Gently shake out the head and neck. Inhale all the way back up to standing. And exhale, hands touch in front of the chest. Good. Make any adjustments that you need to. I'm going to revamp our lighting here. I think we can go back to natural light now. The sun is setting. Maybe a little too bright. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get set back up at the top of our mat. Now, if you do have a blanket, why don't you go ahead and roll that blanket up now until it's about that thickness. Okay? Go ahead and place that up at the top of your mat. Through some dynamic movement and with the help of this blanket, you could also use a rolled up sweatshirt or, again, a thin pillow or something so that you can keep the heels down and the toes lifted as we move through this forward fold sequence, right? So hopefully you can see my feet still here. I'm approaching this blanket with my heels down and my toes lifted. I'll come back here so you can see me a little more clearly. And immediately when I get set up here with the arches of my feet over top of that blanket roll, I'm using different muscles to stabilize. I'm having to lift the arches of my feet, stabilize here in the core. I balance here on my heels with my toes lifted. Now already I can start to feel my hamstrings benefiting from a stretch. With my hands on my hips, I'm going to lift the chest, inhale. And as I exhale, I'm going to bend the knees like I'm coming back into chair pose. And then I'm going to lift the hips back, chest lifts also. And so I'm just going to very progressively start to warm up the hamstrings before I come into our standing forward fold sequence. Going down through chair, tough to balance on the heels there. A lot of core stability is involved. Move through that chair pose sequence one more time. This time, relax the hands down to your shins or your thighs, straighten the legs. See if you can get your back about parallel with the floor. And now feel that stretch through the hamstrings. Keep pulling the shoulder blades together, crown of the head reaching forward. Again, with the breath, exhale. Use that intention that accompanies the breath to go deeper into your practice. Inhale up halfway, reset. Torso parallel to the floor. And forward fold. You can bring hands down to blocks. You can have your hands on the mat or wrapped around the legs. I'm just going to do this 4 more times, lifting halfway in. Exhaling, releasing. Once more. Press down through the feet. Tuck the chin in towards the chest 3 times. Bend in the knees, inhale, come all the way back to standing. Exhale, hands touch in front of the chest. Good. Go ahead and step back off that blanket. Make any adjustments that you need to. Scooch that blanket off to the side for now and clear your back. All right. Feel all that blood rushing through the legs, hamstrings feeling a lot more stretched than when we started. Coming up to the top of your mat, bring the hands to rest in front of the chest. Inhale, stretch the hands high overhead, hips press forward, heart opens. Exhale, forward fold. Fingers plant, right foot steps far back. Soften your right knee to the floor. So we're in a low lunge. I have my left ankle right underneath of the knee. Okay, move this bolster out of the way. And I want to try and keep my hips flat across the back here. I'll demonstrate with a yoga block. If you can see that, I want to really try and keep the hips level, just like headlights on your vehicle. All right, from there, you might already feel that stretch across that right hip flexor, just in front of where your right pocket is. Keep pressing the hips forward and relaxing them down. Feel the heart lift. You can keep the hands by the side. Hands can rest on left leg or in another position. Tuck those back toes under. Hands plant. We're going to step back to downward facing dog. Slowly come to your knees. Rest in child's pose a moment. And then when you're ready, inhale here, child's. Exhale slowly forward, scooping the abdomen across the floor. Hips come down last, and chest lifts for cobra. Ready, exhale, relax from cobra. Tuck the toes under and press back down dog. This time we're going to step our right foot forward and lower the left knee down. Good. We're going to move through this low lunge sequence on this side. When you're ready, you can rise up your lunge. Again, try and keep the hips level here. Making sure that this knee is not collapsing inwards, but that knee stays right over top of the ankle. Next exhalation, let your hands frame the front foot and slowly step your back foot forward. Big at the head and neck. Inhale up halfway to reset. And exhale, release. Inhale, return to standing. Exhale, hands return to rest. Go ahead and shake it out. We should all be very warmed up now. Let's see, it's about 7 o'clock. Great. Going to come back to standing. All right, feet just about hip width apart. And grab a couple of blocks. So finish our forward fold series here for our standing practice. But we'll start by just gently circling the hips Go ahead and take them in 8 big circles in both directions. You've completed that 8th circle, just pause, reset the hips, and reverse. And once you've completed your 8th circle on this side, just pause. Now go ahead and turn the heels in, toes turn out. And we're just going to come down for one round of goddess pose. Again, imagine there's a zipper below the belly button and zip that lower belly up and in, keeping the core engaged. Sink down just a little bit deeper. To your breath. Thank you. Exhale, straighten the legs, press the hands down. Good. Just gently shake out the limbs. We're going to come back down onto the mat to lie down on our backs. I want you to start by coming onto your back. Go ahead and hug the right knee in towards the chest. Give it a great big squeeze in. If you can, grab a hold of the hamstring. That's the back of the leg muscle there. And then when you're ready, go ahead and switch. Grab the back of the left leg. And go ahead and place that left foot down. We're going to make our way into happy baby pose, which is the hip opening pose. Also feels really great for the lower back. We're going to start by hugging both knees in towards the chest. You might just want to stay right here. If you'd like to build upon this, a couple different hand variations. I like to just reach for the outside edges of my feet when they're reachable. Otherwise, you could just wrap the arms around the back of the legs. You could stay right here. Some people also like it's affectionately called yogi toe lock, where you can grab a hold of just the big toe. I like to use my arms to kind of press my legs out slightly here, which encourages my legs to stay in a healthy stretch. Otherwise, sometimes they get a little lazy and they start to kind of just come in here, which is fine if you just want to rest. You want to find that active stretch. I'm going to try and maybe just open the legs a little wider. Slow down. Slow down the thoughts. Slow down. Reconnect with breath. Ready to release the feet. Place the feet back on the floor. Step the feet wide, a little wider than your mat, and then let the knees stack back in together. Let the hands rest on the belly. Just gently turn the head and neck right to left, right. Your face and jaw to be flat. Rest. Slowly start to walk the feet back in alignment with the hips, moving from our constructive rest into a bridge pose prep position. Now, if you do have a yoga block, you have your feet, knees, and hips in alignment, you can take that block on its lowest setting and just slide it underneath of the lower back and hips. You can find a restorative bridge pose. If you want a little more activity than the restorative bridge, you can simply do this without the block. Feet press down into the floor and hips reach up, and I'm drawing the shoulder blades together to create a steady platform. Hold the chest. You should be able to comfortably lift your head and neck here. If you're feeling like there's any compression in the throat and neck, try tilting the chin away from the chest. When you're ready, slowly lower the hips down. Hug the knees back into the chest and rest. Point and flex the toes. Rotate the ankles in one direction and then the other. And then go ahead and extend the legs long. We'll prepare for our practice of deep relaxation and yoga nidra. So you might just rest just like this for the practice. If you've been experiencing any kind of tightness in your back or hamstrings that's still present, you can bring some blocks or support underneath of the legs. That's going to support a nice little bend in the knees, which is going to create this flow, which is a lot easier on the lower back than just having your legs straight out on the floor. You could also grab a blanket to place underneath of that lumbar spine area, which can support the curvature of the back. Make any little adjustments you need to so you can be completely comfortable to rest here. I'm going to lead the practice from a seated position. I would encourage you to get as comfortable as you can, resting on the floor. In preparation for our guided deep relaxation, just gently pick up the arms and legs and sit them back down. Just shuffle the body side to side gently. Make any last little changes you need. If you decided maybe you're too cool or too hot, you can make adjustments accordingly. Your body temperature will tend to cool as we rest here. And then bring your awareness back into the breath. Take long, slow, deep breaths. As you breathe in cool, fresh air. Breathe in peace and vitality. And as you exhale, let go of any stifled hot air or worries or anything you don't need anymore. Let it go. Breathing in peace, resilience, passion. Exhaling, letting go of anything that's inhibiting, distracting, or destructive. Let it all go with the out breath. We'll begin our practice with the tense and release of the arms and legs. When you're ready, take a deep breath in and squeeze all the muscles of the right leg tense and tight. Keep squeezing the muscles of the right leg until I say release. Continue to inhale and squeeze the muscles tight and lift the right leg a few inches from the floor. Hold. Keep breathing in if you can. And then exhale, release. Slowly lower the right leg down. Now gently roll the right leg side to side and feel it relax. Good. Let the right leg stay relaxed here. We'll do the same thing with the left leg. Squeeze all the muscles of the left leg tense and tight. Hold the leg a few inches above the floor. As you breathe in, hold the breath in. Keep holding. Breathe in a little more if you can. Relax and release. Lower the left leg down. Slowly roll the leg side to side. Let it relax. Now the hips and legs are relaxed completely. Bring your mind to your buttocks. As you inhale, feel the butt muscles clenching, feel the posterior, maybe even just lift an inch or two up as you squeeze and hold the breath in. Exhale, relax the hips and glutes. Relax. And now think of the abdomen. Breathe into the lower belly deeply, feeling like the abdomen were a balloon. Continue to inhale and expand to its limit. Breathing in peace, spaciousness, good health. Relax and release. Again, same thing, but this time imagine you're going to inflate the balloon so that it peaks here in the chest. Inhaling, feel the chest lift and swell with all that fresh air. Release. One more time, blowing up the balloon completely, expanding belly and chest. This time, inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. Release. Good. Now bring your mental concentration to the right hand. Squeeze the right hand and make a fist. Lift that right arm up a few inches as you tense the muscles tight. Breathe in. A few more moments. Release. Lower the right arm down. Rock the arm side to side and let it be. Same thing for the left. Inhale, squeeze the left hand and make a fist. Lift that left arm up a few inches from the floor. Release. Relax through the fingers, joints. Now just very gently rock the head and neck side to side, left to right, right to left. Notice when the head and neck pass through center. Gently tuck the chin into the chest, and then tilt the chin away. And again, a few more times. Let the head and neck relax and center. First together the lips. Feel the lips, the chin, the muscles around the mouth, squeezing inward. Release. Again, pucker the face, squeezing the lips in. Relax. Release. Gently squeeze the eyes shut and relax. One more time, squeeze the eyes shut tight. Relax. Feel all the muscles of the face and the jaw relax. Now we've literally relaxed all the muscles in the body, but we'll go through with our minds just to scan and see if there are any areas that might be holding any residual tightness or tension. If you encounter any of these areas in your body during your scan, use your mind to send a message for those parts to relax. This can be as simple as repeating to yourself, relax. Feel any kind of stress or tension dissipate. All you have to do is bring your mind through the body, rest it on any single point, and repeat, relax. Stress and tension will slip away. physical body go down. It is rested and relaxed. Bring your attention to the breath. See how light it has become. As you rest here peacefully in a state of deep relaxation, allow your mind to soften. Gently observe the sounds in the room, the sounds in your body, the sounds of breath, respiration, heart beating in your chest. Move deeper and deeper into your relaxed state. Allow your mind to become like a void, open, receptive, attentive, yet relaxed, not striving, simply here. Find that undescribable peace which accompanies presence. Find healing and peace here. Find healing and peace in this present moment. Mind, body, spirit, resting, full of light and love. Feel yourself illuminating from within, radiant and bright, warm yet soft. For the fullness of your breath. Keep breathing. Feel a wave of wash over you. Temperature, perfectly cool water, rejuvenating, fresh, full of sustenance. Feel this wave of liquid light enter through the crown of your head, wash over your being, and exit through your feet. And feel wave after wave, shimmering gold, pass through your. Remember who you. Remember why. Remember. Awareness resting back on the breath. Each breath intentionally to reawaken your physical body from its deep relaxation. Allow your mind and your spirit to stay connected to the essence of peace, of that sacred stillness, even as you reawaken your body. By literally embodying peace, gently awaken, slowly stirring from deep relaxation. Feel called to take your time to join me back in a comfortable seated position. Last time all together, we'll take a deep breath in, reaching the hands up and overhead. Nice full body stretch. Let the hands come and rest back in front of the heart center in Anjali Mudra. Hari Om, Om Tat Sat. We close our practice and we greet each other with Namaste. 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 Namaste.